What's good? I, I am very excited. I actually got inspired by looking at the 3D version of the dunks to finally put my dunks on, and I'm very excited about this. This is really cool. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm ready to see what y'all cook.
Oh, we're so ready. Next up, we have Franco. How you doing?
Hello, hello. I'm good. Also, very, very excited. I think this is the probably my favorite challenge that's going to be happening on the last like 6 months. Very, very excited. This I think is going to be an opportunity for people to go wild and very creative. So it's fun times.
That's a bold statement because over the past 6 months, I think we've had like 1,000 challenges.
We've been on a six on a 6 months like challenge after challenge. Yes, we need a little break, but this one, I think the last time I said we were not going to be doing a challenge this month, but it was a really good opportunity to do it. So we let it in.
Yeah, we couldn't pass up on this one, guys. And we also have Yalen up on stage. Glad to have you. Honored to have you. How you doing?
What's going on? Yeah, I mean you can't really pass up a challenge with the prizes like that, like a cat tongue, like sheesh. No, but I'm doing great after like seeing the 3D and working on this 3D for like I don't know, a couple years now it seems. It's awesome finally getting to see them out in the wild in the hands and excited to see how people want them. Change up the silhouette, make them your own. Have fun with it.
Absolutely. And can't wait to hear all the BTS on the Dunk base files and the mod files, which you guys have been working on, which I cannot understand. My brain cannot even fathom how it will. We're definitely going to need your insight on that. Franco, we had some major changes. Major, moderate, major changes to the Artifact Discord. We kind of took it over. What did we do?
Okay, let's keep it moderate. We didn't like the major, but no, I guess like the general idea behind starting to make changes and test around with Discord. We got together with the team with Connie that helped us a lot in this. Um, to try to bring back people to Discord in a way that it makes sense, right? Um, I think obviously we know like a lot of the reasons on why Discords for the last year they have been hit a little bit, not working very well, and so a lot of things going on there in which the people get a little bit afraid of it. But I think we are going to try to test things around and to clean up some things and see how it works for it to be a good experience, not just for creators, but for holders and community members in general. I can speak from the changes that we did on creators, most of it, but um, right now, if you go to a Discord, the Artifact Discord, everything is cleaned up in a lot of ways in which you have less channels, more concentrated into things that make sense on where to talk and where to look for things. And I think we can. I mean, obviously, you can just go and see and this is a test thing, right? If you find something that is missing or something that you would love to have or something that would make the sense for you, not just from a perspective of somebody that's been an artifact member for the longest time, but also thinking about, okay, especially with this challenge, if you have somebody that is coming from another like a I don't know, coming from a sneakerhead community that has a little bit of creative in him or her, how's that onboarding going to look like, or how's that experience going to be inside there? How can they connect and collab with people that been here with Artifact from the get go. So all those are questions that we're trying to do right now and see what's best. So if you have some feedback for it or some ideas or anything, definitely hit us up. I think um, probably our DMs. I'm not sure what's the best way for this. Probably me, Cass, Ferry. You guys can Conan too. You guys can let us know and we'll set up like a doc and put everything there and figure out what's the best way. So that's kind of like one of the things why we did this revamp of Discord in general, going straight into the artifact creators part of things. One of the major things we did is like the creator chat, we made it public, right? Because our philosophy right now for creators in general, and just for now until to the long term, is that we think that everyone could be a creator, or everyone is kind of a creator, right? So most people will have that access to the things that we're planning in the future, um, through different roles that we're trying to make. and we want people that come into Artifact to at least see what a creator is and what are the options, because we're thinking that a lot of people, you don't have to like make something crazy to be a creator, right? Like you could be a creator of thought, you could be a creator of ideas, you could be a creator of projects, you could be any type of creator. Obviously the creators that are in the lab making 3D music, like illustrations, those are creators that are um, invested at, well into the creative world. But there could be a like a system in which everyone goes there, they have an access to the creative part of the world, and then they connect with other creators that have been there, and then different roles will separate, creators from other creators. That's something that we'll talk later. At the moment, what we have in there is this creator chat that I just mentioned. There's another chat that's called challenges chat. So for every ongoing challenge that we're gonna have, that is the channel for people to go there and you know ask any questions or doubts about the ongoing challenge, in this case uh, the multi challenge. And then also just to collaborate with people, right? You're going to be finding people that are actively working for that challenge. So maybe somebody's doing animation, another one is doing illustration, maybe you guys can combine, or no, maybe you just do your thing but you don't know how to solve a couple 3D things. Or people are very collaborative, really, community. So I think people just can help in general, and we're going to be there as well, active, if you want to have like a fast answer. Those are the two main challenges. Channels. Then we just reduce it to another three more, which is like the announcements. We're going to be there. All the links of Creator FAQ and everything's going to be there as well. We have the Creator website for the people that are here for the first time. If you go to creators.artifact.com, you're gonna find everything about creators in there, from the FAQs and licenses to how to start with your 3D files to the works for our amazing creators in the community. That's our hub, pretty much. um, the hub for visuals is that, and our Discord is more for engagement and to learn and to kind of like understand what's happening at the moment. And then commissions, that's something that we really want to kind of push more, and we're looking at ways. So if you guys also have feedback in there, that'll be cool. So the commission system is a board in which you have obviously creators of all sorts, and then you have people that could be holders, not even, it could be just people in general that are looking for some commission work on anything, a render, a song, to be part of the project, anything at all. You guys can put up in there to see if you get some people that will be able to pay for your work, or anything of that sort. So that's really it, what we have right now. I think the second phase of this that we're looking at is to structure more. What is that engagement that you can get in Discord? What is the role that you're gonna have as a creator? At the moment, there's one role, which is the creator role. Everyone has it, so that's going to be changing soon. We'll let you know more about it. Um, but we wanted to have this first kind of structure change, so it makes sense whenever we do a second wave of changes. So that's really it, I think, from Discord. Sorry, I guess it was too much talking for something simple, but that's where we are on Discord right now. Fair.
And that's why I said it was a major change. Do you see what I mean? It was like a brand new haircut. The Discord feels so much lighter. It's fun to be there. No offense to, Connie, whoever designed it beforehand. There's just too many of you. But now it's just clean and easy to navigate. So thank you, Connie, for making those changes for us. Now I'm going to put Cass on the spot. Cass, can you give us a lowdown on what the Artifact X Nike Dunk even is? What is that, bro? What are those?
What are those? No, I think Franco did hit the nail on the head, and Ferry's right. It is, we can say that Discord changes were major because it's all about the vibes and making sure everyone's coming in and finding the best place to learn and understand what's happening. And so even here, just people who don't know what Artifact is or why this kind of challenge is so crazy. When you have a shoe like a Nike, you're usually not always going to get like the most like spotlight from a group that released it to then also kind of work together on creating something for it. And so this is like a brand new way that creators are going to be able to tap in with a brand like Artifact and Nike, and we've already seen it in the background. It's only been 24 hours, but there's a lot of people who are cooking, a lot of different little subsections of creators, everybody from 3D people to just actual fashionistas. I seen some people in the Bad Take crew. I want to definitely get their submissions, because it's a really cool opportunity for people to spotlight themselves as a creator, whether you're a designer or just someone who wants to put something out cool in 3D, or actually make a full-on physical version of it. So super excited.
And he completely missed my question.
I mean, the Dunk Genesis is it's the first silhouette from Artifact and Nike in a dunk format. I feel like that part it's substantial, but I was hitting the nail on the head with the creator side. So apologies, I didn't study hard enough.
You did great, Cass, to be honest with you. You covered a lot of things that are quite vital, but so are the dunks, But if you don't know what they are, I don't even know what you're doing here. Yeah, let's just get to the challenge, I guess. Yarlin, what do you have to tell us about these dunk files, dude?
I mean, the dunks themselves have been, I don't even know how many times we've remodeled and remade these internally just to get them right. But the files that are going to be coming out with these base mods is the brand new, updated, physically like accurate dunk file for the base dunk itself. For the mods, you're gonna have the tongue mods, which I believe we have. I think it's like 3 different sizes that we have for those. The heels, I think, have 2, and then the wing clips, which are probably the biggest challenge. If those are the ones you guys want to mod as part of your entry, because I think those come in, I think like one for each size of the sneaker. So at least with the heel and the tongue mod, there's like a range. I think it's like from like size 5 to 8 is one, and then from like 9 to I think like 15 or something is another one. Yeah, those wing clips are tricky, but yeah, no, everything's been modeled out from the ground up. Pretty accurate to be representative of the sizing and everything. It's also the same model, or very similar to the model that we use for some of our renders. So yeah, new files.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I can say this. I saw the void files and we zoomed in and you can see the stitching and it's so perfection. Like, it just looks so real and it doesn't make sense how humans are capable of creating something like that. Usually it's the digital first and then it, turns into the physical. But this time, and I think both ways is hard, but that is, I can't even imagine what it took to create something like that. So kudos to the 3D team. You guys are absolutely incredible. So maybe we'll go to the challenge details. So this is honestly one of the best opportunities to show off what your creative brain has got in store, and like there's no limit to what you can create because it's got 3 different areas which you can work on. You don't have to work on all 3 of these mods. You can choose which one, or you can work on all of them at the same time. But I will read what it says on the website. So let's go from this section. The Artifact X Nike Genesis is equipped with removable mods and interchangeable vial attachments, designed with creators, gaming, and internet culture. The Artifact X Nike Dunk has 3 main mods: the tongue shield, the heel clip, and eyelets. And honestly, there's so much you could do with all of this. So what you have to do is create a concept design of an attachment or full customization for the Artifact Nike Dunk Genesis sneaker. You can utilize, as I said, a single or multiple of the files provided. And this submission can be 2D design, it could be 3D design, or it can be a 3D physical print. And, if you can get super duper creative, you might even be able to make something, I don't know, handmade, not even printing with a printer. So there's all sorts of ways you can get creative with this. And also, I want to say that this challenge is open to absolutely anybody, regardless of your location. And you can collaborate on this challenge. So, if you are just a thinker, an inventor, or like a 3D designer or a modeler or something, and you need ideas from somebody else, I think the best thing to do is find somebody you vibe with, somebody that has the same vision as you, and just get cooking. There is so much that you could do. I don't know if we should. I do this every time, but can we try and give some ideas, or should we talk about what we're excited to see?
We can ask Harlan about his idea, because he put something cool out, and maybe that'll help some people. Because we can't give answers, because someone's gonna run off and there's gonna be like 6 copycats of whatever like random idea we came up with.
Well, no, it's about being innovative, right? And thinking outside of the box. And if I speak, then I'm gonna be your box. You don't want to go anywhere near my box. So Jay, how was the mods that you created? How was that experience for you?
I mean, I went with more of like a simple design because I plan on releasing at least those files out to you guys. I don't know, whenever I'm not super slammed. So hopefully in the next week or so, before the challenge is over for sure. But it was really just like to like showcase how to detach it, like split pieces from a model, and essentially just attach them using like simple joints. Most people who have 3D printers probably don't have like industrial grade or production ready printers, even though like there's really good resin printers out there. Like if any of you guys there's like Anycubics, which I think that's like the printer I have, and their prices are like significantly cheaper, but really good quality. But the build space is generally still pretty small for the general consumer. So yeah, it's usually important to be able to split up some of these for some of the more bigger mods and use like simple joint attachments to either glue them or attach them together after. So that was the goal for that. It wasn't necessarily to go like super ham or crazy on the design aspect, but I did always want to get some underworld wings on the rear wing clip since like way back in the day when we were working on the design. I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely need some bat wings up in this. So that was kind of the thought process behind that one. Kind of just a simple thing to showcase how to do that. And also got to come correct on something I said before. So the files that you're getting, the 3D files, it is like similar to the ones that we do use for rendering. I think the ones that are being released don't have the textures yet, because we ended up using a lot of those like procedural texturing methods, so you can have like unlimited zoom essentially into the asset, which we use for render. Challenge, I think it's going to be just the base model itself, and we do plan on releasing out an updated PBR GLB once we get a little bit of time to do that.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for correcting me there. I didn't mean to get anybody's hopes up.
No, I was correcting me, not you. You're good.
Oh, were you? Well, the dunk base files, even they look absolutely ridiculous. So there's lots of stuff to play with, and we can't release everything all at once. Otherwise, you guys will get bored and you'll be like, when? So we have to do all of this gradually. We had some frequently asked questions. Cass, do you have any of them up? I have one. Danny asked, does the mod do the mods have to be practical, or can they be something that's not practical as well? And of course, this is like a concept design challenge, so anything kind of goes as long as it fits on the mod. On the dunks. As long as it fits there and it looks good, and it's eye-catching, outside of the box, as I said, anything kind of goes, as long as you follow the guidelines, of course. So please make sure you go on the landing page that we have for every challenge. This one's very detailed and it's got all the things that you might need to know. But also, if you have any questions, we're super active on Discord. As I said, all of our DMs are open. Feel free to ask absolutely anybody. Okay? Yes, so Cass, any other questions that you've got lined up?
Yeah, I think the first one is about the multiple submissions. If you can have just one submission, or if that's like, or if you can have multiple submissions, or you just have one and then that's all you got. But you can definitely submit multiple ideas, and it could be really cool to see where people go. So don't, especially the people. I'll say the one tip I will try to give is the people that are trying to do something really cool and really big. Just knowing that there's always time constraints in life and in these challenges and stuff. Just try to submit the best idea you can, and don't focus too hard on spending 800 hours and trying to get it all all for one idea before the finish line, you know. But yeah, multiple submissions I think can be really cool, and so hope you guys take advantage of that. One of the other questions I know that was also important was the waiting, since we do have different ways people can submit. So you guys know how our community is. We got people who are going to probably go ahead and 3D print something. There's also people who are sick 2D artists and they might, just paint something or paint on something. Who knows? And we want to make sure that everybody has a way to be a part of this. And you never know which idea is going to be the one or what's going to hit the hardest. And that's why it's so fun with these challenges. So the goal isn't to say that this is going to be preferred by the judges or that. Like we really don't know until everything kind of gets posted in the end. So yeah, just excited, and hope you guys take it and then run with it, because this is going to be one for the history books for sure.
100%. I see a lot of people in the audience that are creators. So if you have any questions, please do come up. I can't really think of what else anybody could ask. I mean, people did ask if they can submit as a group as well, which we already answered. What programs or softwares can people use to create these mods in? Yarlan, I'm going to send that one to you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can pretty much use whatever tooling best works for you. So the thing about like this kind of thing and working in 3Ds, there's like a myriad of different softwares and programs that people can use. Most of our team internally uses Maya. I use 3ds Max. Part of our team uses Blender. You can pretty much use whatever you need to create. ZBrush is also like a pretty big one that we end up using in all our pipeline when it comes to like sculpting a lot of the details. And sometimes even like doing the decimation to get some of them ready for print, you can do through there. So I mean, software is really, I would say maybe the least of any of the worries, because software is really just a tool.
Sorry, I was trying to bring somebody up and it muted everyone. Sorry.
All good, all good. No, I was just saying, like, yeah, software is just pretty much like a tool. Like, if you're a designer, you're an artist, you create, and it's just like one of the many tools you use to create. So don't get limited or pigeonholed too much into thinking about what software should I use. Use whatever you feel like is works best for you. At the end of the day, if you are making something for print, which I mean, this is a physical mod challenge, so having stuff for print would be dope to see. It's not required, but it'd be cool to see. You probably end up using like a slicer from whatever 3D printer you have. Like I end up using this software called G2 Box, which funny name, but actually a really awesome slicer, and it has tons of all the functionalities you need to actually get your model ready for printing, all the support, all the build, all that stuff that goes with it. So yeah, we can get pretty technical really quick with some of this. So I would say just focus on just being creative, make a dope silhouette, figure out design, get your design out right, and then the technicality stuff is just technicalities. That's easier to solve.
Beautifully said. Absolutely. We also have Johnny up on stage. Hey, Johnny, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. Just finally a challenge I can participate in. No, I guess Harlan just answered my question about the 2D and whether it needs to be ready for print or not. So I guess doesn't need to. Another question is, are artifact assets available to be used? Like anything that had been released up until this point, could you take like certain attributes from certain things and reinterpret them based off of like past files?
I mean, I'm gonna give you my answer to that, and it's like you have the assets. The assets are yours. You could do with them as you wish. I don't know about legal might be a little different, but that's like my take on it. Like make a dope piece with it. I think it'd be all right. Also, I did check out your shop. I think like this past weekend. Super dope.
Which one, in Miami or New York?
New York.
Nice. I'll be up there at the end of this week for something I'm doing with WWE. Should be fun.
Oh, let's go.
Franco, do you want to have a go at this question as well?
Yeah, Johnny, you're good with it. How it works right now in terms of the legal part that uh, Jalen just brought up is for the challenge. You can use anything you guys want if you have the files, right? If you have files of anything artifact and those files are yours, you can use them for this challenge because the challenge itself it falls into the category of personal use, right? So if you want to commercialize after your mods, then that's a different story. But for the challenge, you're good to go as long as you use you can use the artifact and Nike assets in there with their logos if you want on this challenge. But if you bring, for example, like logos or trademarks from other companies that they're not yours, then that's when we can't really accept them into a challenge. So I mean, like a quick, I don't know, example would be like if you have like a shoe and then the shoe has like a, I don't know, like a Atari logo somewhere, then we can't qualify it. But that would be it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've done 3D mods in the past and stuff like that as I've been trying to learn over the last few years. I mean, almost specifically for a challenge like this, and I've used like the Murakami wings, and I've used like the Octo hat and the Medusa snakes, and other things like that, and Zaid's bucket hat, and just random just traits from different 3D files that we've gotten over the time. And so I just, as we're going into this challenge, just wanted to make sure that we're open. Normally, I'm obviously pretty cognizant of not using artifact like logo or branding or anything like that. But as far as the 3D files, I just wanted to double check before getting into anything.
Yeah, I think that would only end up becoming like any kind of issues if they were going to be for commercial use. And even with that, we provide like unbranded commercial files that people wanted to create stuff to actually go and sell and redistribute to people for profit. They're more than able to with those.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Johnny. And we also have Belle up on stage. Sorry, I can't pronounce that first name. Can you let us know how to pronounce it? We're not that cultured.
Thanks, it's Kronos. I appreciate for having me. I'll try to be brief. I was just wondering if it's on the horizon a possibility of Artifact using having one of the Nike athletes having a very very limited edition of one of the signature um, athletes because I would love to see them on the court using it, and then suddenly people just, whoa, how can I get that? Well, there's only 100 or 1,000 of them. So that's my question. Is there any possibility we might see that in the future? And thanks for allowing me to ask my question.
Sorry, you mean um, for example, like one of these big athletes to use one of like a limited cake from Artifact and Nike, and then have like a small amount for those shoes. That what you said?
Well, actually having a signature one, they attach their name to it, or whatever whatever logo they have. Some of those athletes have their own signature kind of, but there will be a special edition of the athlete and artifact.
Yeah, I think that at this point, because we've been attached with Nike for some time, I think anything is possible. Really, it's more about like the moment in time and which person and what's the kind of like the campaign behind it, right? For people to also be incorporated. But yeah, man, that's a, I mean, that's a good one, and I mean, you never know.
He's trying to get you fired.
Franco did good.
Yeah, no, that was a dope answer. I'm glad he took that one because I wasn't ready to leak anything or be close to leaking anything because yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm more excited about just like the actual creators here versus talking about potential partnerships and whatnot. So Cronus, you are a creator, it seems yourself. You're a builder in the space. Are you going to be doing anything with these mod challenges or designs?
Uh, I'm learning, so I'm very novice, a newbie on this. So I'm keep on learning. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
no worries.
the interesting with this is like, are you gonna ask people, hey, what are you doing for your challenge? What ideas do you have? But then also the fear that anyone else might take that idea and go run with it. So I'm actually curious to see who is willing to share anything with that. It doesn't have to be even like ideas. It could just be more on the technical side too. If you have any questions around technicalities, like what materials to use, which is actually like a pretty big one, type of printers, things like that.
Yeah, sorry if I'm trying to get people to leak their ideas on stage, but I know we got Rose Jade up here, and she's already put her intentions out there, and we know her style, which is dope. So I'm excited to see what she does. Rose, what's going on?
Hey, awesome. I don't know. I'm happy to share and leak. I think it's just in the brainstorming aspect of it all. So I'm a watercolor painter. So for me, just plain Jane kind of for 3D print if I can manage it so that I can paint it. That's my hope. Otherwise, I'm going to go to the 2D route as well, just to try different silhouettes first before I venture down that route. I think the time pressure is always going to be an issue. I think for all of us creators, it always takes a lot more time than we think, even just for prototypes. So some of that is like work the plan, like plan the plan, work the plan, hit your milestones so you can get something out. Because I am typically the one that is submitting at like the last 30 seconds of the deadline, which is very stressful. So yeah, hope to contribute and just give it a go with some ideas out there. 2D I feel like takes just as long as 3D sometimes, in terms of perfecting all the elements that you might want. And yeah, I love how we can also hopefully share like our tools and like tech stack together. I actually often write down like a Notion notebook for my own sanity of like, wait, what am I using? What should I use next? And just where I'm trying. And actually often try to create a thread after the fact and hopefully maybe during that we can kind of compare notes. But 3D is such a new area for me that I'm literally using Chat GPT for Blender help. So I'll go in there, ask for prompts, and go to the very basic of like, wait, I lost that window. How do I get that navigation back? I don't know what I did. Or, just certain effects. Like it will tell you very pointedly if you can prompt it to do so. But the basics of Blender also are very helpful. I combine that with like YouTube videos. So I'm in there learning as I go for the 3D skills because it's all new to me. But love just having a challenge to help like grow yourselves and just, everyone I think has something to contribute, especially with the dunks. I think we've been so excited for it that the interpretation of like what next you can do with the mods. I can share that I'm going to do one for a female silhouette. So I know it's futuristic and a little clunky, but hoping to throw it out there for something that, speaks to my clone, which is a female clone. So yeah, excited to contribute.
Rose Jade, first of all, it's so nice to hear your voice again. I have missed it so much. Hi, welcome back.
Hi, I am back.
Hey! And secondly, great tips. I never really thought about having ChatGPT as like a best friend slash blender guru to talk to and learn things from. And something else you mentioned about, you know, these challenges aren't necessarily for, I know it sounds crazy, but not for winning them, but almost like showcasing your talents to your little bubble or your little community and networking with other people, because you need to do things to stand out. If you're just going to be hiding in the shadows and just thinking things in your head, and when people usually submit things for challenges, some people are like, oh my god, I could have done better, or I could have done something along these lines, or why didn't I think of that first? And it's like, well, you can next time, but if only you do it. And this is like a great opportunity. We've had loads of challenges now, and I think people know exactly what to expect. So with the tips that you said combined with everything, I think a lot of people are going to be a lot more eager to learn and participate in the challenges. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm actually a very competitive person, but with myself. And so, like, if you have that vision in mind, like for everybody, that idea, like, just go after it. And the submission is yours and yours alone. And so I just try to strive to put like my best effort per the time horizon available in the mix of everything else that we all have going on. And so, yeah, with all these challenges, I would say most of the time I am very, very proud and very happy and satisfied that I delivered on what I had imagined that I would do so. So for this, I think because, multiple submissions, I believe, are okay. And so then it's like, wow, it opens up just more for you to try and create. I've seen some sketches of things that people have done already. And I'm like, that's amazing to see some early submissions already shared.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
if you're gonna be using like multiple entries, yeah, I would definitely use one of those to take a chance. Like that's one of those things where I think playing it safe is like one of those things where many will. It's easy to kind of play it safe. So if you're gonna do multiple entries, just take a chance at it because you never know where it's gonna get.
That's a really good point. Some of the challenges that I've been looking at, they limit you to just one submission per challenge. And I think that kind of creates so much anxiety for the creators. So this is something that we wanted to stay away from and just give you guys more freedom to just play and figure out, because once you do something, it might spark your imagination for something else, and it will lead to something even bigger or something smaller, just showcasing exactly what talents you have. We also have Meryl up on stage. Hi, Meryl. Good morning.
Morning, what's up? How's it going? Exciting times. Looking forward to this. Lots of ideas. Maybe too many ideas. I think the issue is picking the one, maybe a couple, and then doing multiple submissions sounds good. I curious, like what kind, like the submission says 2D, 3D, etc. I guess the quality is the submission, as you just mentioned, like whether it's a video or just a sketch or something, could impact it, but I'm kind of curious as to how much, like, how would you judge it? Is it are there like some metrics that you have in mind already with the concept or like fun level or danger level?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about necessarily like danger level, but usually when it comes to like ideas and ideating on concepts, like the best thing that you want to do is make sure that whatever it is that you're trying to communicate properly communicates. And you can actually see like if this is like the mod that you're trying to design for a very specific thing, if a turnaround works for it, do that. If a 3D, a couple of renders work, do that. If it's like if a couple of sketches communicates the idea enough where it could be like, damn, that's dope, then it's different for everybody because it's like we do have like we can range from 2D, we can go to 3D, we can go through printed, which actually the further you go on into these, because you can start at 2D and you can keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and you're always going to find another, I guess not necessarily a barrier obstacle, but just another like another technicality
Branch.
to overcome. So, if you start with 2D, you have your sketches. If you go into 3D, you have your sketches that then, lead into your 3D. Then they get into printed. Do you print in resin? Do you print in nylon? Do you use like MJF after you print it, and if you want to paint it, what do you need to do to paint it? How does paint react to resin? So you can always take it a step further. So my thing is always like, whatever your idea and your concept is, just make sure that you're able to just communicate it properly, and that it kind of can stand on its own.
Great. Looking forward to getting the 3D file of this shoe. I think that'll help a lot. Yeah, I wanted to also maybe like add something in regards to there's like three parts. People keep talking about these three parts, and for me, I think it'd be the innovation here is to consider them as anchor points. So I'm definitely trying to stimulate more people to think of them as a unified system, and make some bits that are maybe like taking advantage of all three things. And of course, the laces. I'm seeing the laces as the lace holes and putting the laces through these designs, kind of fixing them in some ways, and so you have kind of a frame to work around, where you have like a load point at the back and the front, so you can make cages and stuff. So I mean that by itself should give a lot of people some maybe extra juice, extra like nuggets. And then I'm thinking like looking at things that already exist that we could utilize. I'm definitely leaning more towards making a physical, but multiple submissions of some sketches could be fun, which then develop into one final physical. There's one major one that I'm gonna keep close to the chest, which I think could be really fun. But I don't know if I have enough time for that. But I like the idea of using the 3 points as a frame, including the laces as well, and it becomes really secure, and just changing the whole silhouette in itself. So I think the best not Easter egg, but the best hint I can give is maybe like look at Edmund Loy's like Instagram, and I think he's got a shoe that I might want to replicate in some similar way.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, we did a couple of internal like just mod explorations that essentially extended each of the components, as you mentioned, like as armature, so you can attach onto it to really fully change the silhouette. And those can be really fun, really interesting too, because you essentially extend what you already have and give yourself more points of connection if you do need them. Um, Load balance is really important when it comes to that. If you're going to be attaching them to the sneaker, how do they feel? Take into account the bend at the toe. Sometimes when in 3D, it's easy to kind of just design just for the 3D and not take into account that these actually deform. People will be moving in them. So if they can't bend, or if they're too stiff, they might snap. Different materials react differently to the sneaker. So yeah, keep that in mind. But yeah, looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I definitely was messing around with an idea and I made it way too big. I realized afterwards people would be stabbing themselves in their foot if they actually wore this thing. Uh, Meryl, I'm excited though. You started with danger, and then you have one that you kept close to the chest, and all the other ideas were even fire leading up. He was given sauce because I think the whole concept, like you were saying, with the anchor points and kind of the areas that you can work off of. It's a lot of like canvas that you don't have to really like think too hard about. You can just kind of free float and build off of it. But appreciate you
Yeah,
jumping in.
yeah, like even looking at like Gundam parts or Warhammer parts, right, or things that you have lying in the house, like camera parts, right? These things make your job a bit easier, and you can just build like a pegboard effectively. I'm really reducing the concept here, but do some nice surfacing, do some nice some chamfers, some radii, some 3 degrees, everything, all this kind of stuff, and I think you'll get something pretty nice. I'm already thinking of like how can I stick a GoPro on this shoe and do a video, but I ain't got time for that. I just need to get some sketches out and just like sell an idea and just be loud. I can't do that either.
Franco, did you hear that? A GoPro shot from the dunk is so sick. Oh my god! If somebody doesn't steal that,
Yo,
No,
that's
I
what I
love this
came up here
combo,
to
man.
say, bro. I need sneaker vision. I need to point of view from my shoes. So GoPro attachments, that's what I'm here. I'm not a creator. I just want to anybody creates that, I'm down to buy one. That's it. That's all I say.
You see, guys, there's already customers just waiting, listening in the shadows, waiting for you guys to start creating. So,
Just make
Frank,
sure
what
you
Why
else?
is
use
everyone in the
just
shadows?
make sure you use the commercial ones for those that you're gonna sell.
Very good point, Jay. In fact, Franco, why don't you tell us a little bit about that? About the different files available.
Damn, I only get to be the law, the police in here.
So sorry. I'm so sorry. You know
No
what?
fun for Franco.
Just
No,
this.
it's all good. It's all good. Look, because it's at the end of the day, it's fun though. I mean, not really, but I'll put it in a way that is fun, right? So if you this challenge, I guess it encompasses a lot of things, right? And one of the things that it gets you prepared to be able to commercialize, right? So if you are building something that is cool, and you already go through a challenge that prepares you to be like, okay, so this whatever I'm creating right now, I'm also going to be able to commercialize. So you are kind of like putting everything together in one. You're going to be set to go in a way to build your brand. And I think like this combo that we have so far, I'll go back to like the specifics on the commercial part, but I love this combo and everything that Meryl just brought and the answers from Cass and Jay in terms of the canvas and what's out there to build. Because the beautiful part about it is that this challenge gives you kind of like a different perspective on the previous challenges that we had, right? Because now you need to strategize a little bit. It's like the prices out there are dope, but they're not the only thing that are for grabs, really. Because you can do a lot of you can do a lot of different entries because multiples are accepted. You can just focus on one and go crazy. You can just go on 2D and that's it. Like Jalen said, like if you're gonna do one thing, if you make it just that thing, it's gonna have that essence. It's gonna be projected into people who are the jury, and that's so true because we've seen it so many times. Whenever somebody that is into 2D and they just give you that essence of the simple 2D of things and how that works into the submission, and we always have a 2D winner in the latest challenges because people really have that. So it's the same thing on other genres. And what I would say is this: don't forget that there's a lot of things outside of this challenge, right? Like if you're aiming for the prize, then yeah, like Jay's been a jury for a while on all these challenges, and the founders too. So you can follow a pattern of what these guys, they like and what they don't, or where they look for into a submission. So if that's your goal, you can go for that path. But there are other ones, right? These are really cool opportunity for you to kind of build yourself a brand or like or at least like a style of things that you can make. There's a lot of people, for example, like Frank here in the audience, that are like, okay, I'm down to buy some stuff, or I'm down to connect with people that are outside of Artifact, sneaker world, sneakerhead world. Like there's people that are looking at the dunk right now and be like, look, there's people that are interested in this dunk. What's the evolution of it? Like what's the future and the vision for this shoe? Not just as the challenge, right? But the challenge is going to have some eyes. And right now, a lot of eyes are around the dunk just because of the release and just because of what is this dunk doing in the eyes of people that never seen this before. So I would say I mean, if you're looking for the price, dope. If you're looking for make a brand for yourself, awesome, really cool. Like, go ahead and do it. What's your style? Is it 3D? Is it 2D? Is it scalable? Is it not? You can inside that category. You can also go different ways. Like I can't remember who was. I think it was Meryl. Like if you are, is that going to be usable? Like people can buy it and use it IRL and through the print. Is it going to be? I don't know. Spiky is going to like harm you, like Cassie was saying. Like it depends on what's the mod that you want to create. But if you don't go crazy, like I've seen a lot of IG pages of people doing, for example, like 3D print sunglasses or glasses in general that are not really usable on a day to day, but they're very usable on a fashion show or they're usable on, I don't know, for marketing campaigns, right? So you can build yourself something really cool in different verticals and approach that. And if you don't get that win on the dunk, maybe you do get that win into the impressions and the I don't know, the engagement, the kickoff engagement for you to build something. So that being said, in the 3D part of the asset and the commercial aspect, you are not obligated to do something that is okay. It's going to be commercial, right? So, as we said to Johnny before, you can grab the files with Artifact logos, with the Nike logos, and build a mod that you want. And for the challenge, it works. It's fine. If you want to commercialize something kind of like new, something built up from scratch, something that is like, okay, it's not going to have the logos, it's going to have my branding or my style, then the way it works is if you see at the, and maybe obviously Jay, jump in if you want, you know more about files in general, but the three mod files right now, the heel, the tongue, and the eyelids. If you see them complete, like the form they have, that is the official file of it, the whole thing, which is an artifact license mod. If you use that, for example, the example of what Jay did, right? You have the actual mod of the heel that has the artifact logo, and you have some bad cool wings coming out of it. You can commercialize that because you have the form of the licensed mod. But if you want to do something new, that mod, that heel, has a clip inside, just the clip that is what attaches to the shoe. So that's the commercial part. If you grab from the 3D file, you separate the little clip that goes into the shoe to the and you take out the official form of the artifact mod, then that's where you can commercialize. So anything that you build out of that clip and you put it into the kick, then you're good to commercialize, right? That could be also something that combines into the three mods, and there's a whole experience around the shoe, or it's individual ones, or that's something that I don't interacts with other parts of the body. Whatever you're building, if it's from scratch, is commercial. And if you have any other questions or anything in general, just let definitely hit us up to see, um, what works and what doesn't, because we're also kind of like exploring this as well. It's something kind of new too. Like I don't know if a shoe or like a Nike or a shoe in general had this type of challenge or this type of um, you know custom experience with the community or with the people. So we are going exploring, and that's another good, I guess, motivator for you to be like, look, it's a it's nobody's land out there. It's opportunity after opportunity, and you just need to grab it, or at least like make some noise to see, where are some ears listening to that noise.
Bars. Bars. I feel like one of the things you mentioned that might be a good tip for people after all this is if you're going to take advantage of the multiple submissions, maybe have one that is something that you could commercialize. Just because, like Franco was saying, you don't know what ideas might catch on or what might be popping. Like we just found out GoPro shoe cages are the one. Merrill has already claimed that though. Please don't take that idea from him. He deserves it. So yeah, I hope you guys do just keep that in mind while you're working, because it could be really dope to see some of this like ecosystem get created around what's being built with the dunks. Like you guys have heard from the start with Artifact. That's been the goal with building the creator program and everything, and just creating a creator environment. But we got some others on stage as well. I see Sea Searcher has been waiting patiently to jump in. Sea Searcher, what's going on?
Thanks very much, Kat. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to taking part in this challenge. Following up on what Merrill said, he was talking about an attachment to build up on that. If we take his example of the GoPro attachment, if you would make a submission where you have to have built the attachment and show the GoPro, is that allowed, or do you have to take the GoPro out? There were other examples too I think it was Kevin who made one with where there was an Apple Watch on top of the shoe. Is that allowed to show it, or is that not allowed?
That is a very good question. So I guess the quick thought that I would have is that, let's say you make the attachment and you make it, and then you can show that different type of cameras can be attached to it, not just GoPro, but any type of form or whatever type of camera you want to, or I guess attachment you want to add in there, and you just take out the GoPro logo. So now you have like a multiple type of companies that could be attached to it, not just like GoPro. That's the immediate thing I'm thinking, right? But I'm gonna go back and ask around to see what's the temperature of that.
Well, I mean, that would be just mostly for the submission of the challenge, not necessarily
Yeah.
to
Yes, yeah, for the
commercialize. I
submission
think
of
if
the
it's submission of
challenge,
the challenge,
yes.
I think it might be fine. I mean, to be safe, just remove the logos. That's something if you're going to use like an Apple Watch, like for the mod for like the tongue that we saw earlier.
Hmm.
Um, you can show that you could put a watch in it. A lot of people have Apple Watches. They probably think that's a dope mod. You're not saying you're selling them a piece of Apple or anything that's an Apple thing, related thing. You're just selling them a mod or giving them a mod that you happen to be able to attach that component to. So I think that's okay. As long as you properly communicate that, I think it should be fine.
Okay, thanks
I
very
might.
much for this.
What if I'm selling fruits? I'm selling pears and apples.
Well, if you got pears, there's definitely a customer in the audience.
Hey!
Yeah, fruits. I don't think anybody owns fruits specifically, so you're definitely going to be fine. Unless it's a bitten apple. Don't go there. We have Anya up on stage also. Thank you for waiting so patiently. How you doing?
I am so wonderful. I am so glad that you guys are all coming together and putting another creator submission challenge in here. I'm so ready to see everything that people put together. I'm just seeing now that Fawn was putting up emojis. She must have been really far away from her phone when she heard that pair comment. I just saw it.
So passionate. Thumbs down.
You know what's wild is I can't hear Anya, so I just know she's talking about pears with Fawn.
Oh,
There's
no,
just
you did. Oh, sorry, Gaz. No, I actually I was gonna come up and I feel a little out of my depth with this challenge, and so I had two kind of suggestions for anybody who's looking into these particular things for me. So first off, I was gonna give some initial ideas to some people to maybe use their talents. I would love to buy a heel mod for anybody who comes up with one that's kind of like an 8-ball, right? You could shake your foot and it gives you like a yes or no or like a maybe or stand up and jump 3 times. I don't know, something really funny like that would like talk to you or tell you something, or like a mood ring type of effect. I would definitely buy a dunk mod with like a mood kind of effect thing on the front of my shoe. Or like a days of the week mod. If you made like some really cool architectural looking like cutesy thing that says like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I get to wear my shoes every day and it's got a different mod on it, that will definitely significantly increase how often I wear my shoes. Let's see what else I'm thinking of. Maybe for the girlies, like a jewelry container case type of thing on the front of that dunk mod. I would absolutely.
Sorry to interrupt you, but that's for the moments when you want to give your earrings to somebody to hold them so you can start the feed,
yes. Yeah, just in case. Yeah, and of course, the stipulation here, obviously you're storing it with the off chance that it doesn't, falls out, like pockets, right? When you put your stuff in your pockets and you got a hole at the bottom and it just falls out, oops, it happens. But you got to give that a warning, I guess, of course, if you're going to volunteer to hold anybody's earrings or rings in your little dunk mod. But no, but when like you're getting, if you and maybe I'm speaking directly to an audience that is not existing here, but if you go and get your nails done, and you want to put your jewelry, like take your jewelry off before you go get your nails done or something, you've got a little spot for it, but that would be really cute. And maybe like a locket type of effect where you could like put somebody's little like picture inside of it. That would be really, really cute. I'd definitely buy a mod that was like that. So I could put like a picture of my family or my lover boy, like, right at the front of my shoe so people can see his handsome face. And yeah, I'll just keep spitting them out as I think of them. But as I was like sitting here thinking like all of the ideas I could potentially like push out to anybody who's still thinking and, get those creative juices flowing. I love to see a good variety of ideas on these mods. And so that's just a little bit of a fresh giving. I'm giving some content here for anybody who's like, in the woods. And the second thing I was going to say is I'm also venturing into the 3D mod world in terms of like having a 3D printer for the first time. My kids have been begging me for a 3D printer, and we've been seeing a lot of stuff my kids, they found Mr. Beast. Help me. So I get a lot of his content now on my feed and my timelines. And there is someone he partners with a lot that does like those 3D, they're not 3D printed fully, but he used to be an engineer at NASA, and he put together these boxes for anybody who would come up to the front door and like steal packages, right? And I cannot remember his name. If anybody thinks of it, I'm sorry. But they started doing these summer challenges so the kids can order boxes and put together these like 3D printed material type of science experiment type things, but it's like for engineers, and these little machine things they put together. And one of the things that they have in the challenge is if you have a 3D printer, you can print off these like little pieces and create your own things and ideas and submit them. And so my kids have all been wondering about the 3D printer world. And so if anybody has any suggestions on like a starter, like if this is their first opportunity to like really dive in and get a 3D printer and experience this like for the first time with that, if anybody has any suggestions on like a starter, or if they just want to go full in and get the best of the best 3D printer that you could possibly have at home, I'd love to hear anybody's suggestions or wisdom here.
Meryl, can you give us some insight?
Yeah, there's a few suppliers nowadays which are reliable. I think the experience of a 3D printer can vary from frustrating to like, oh, it's just like another printer, right? Bamboo Labs has been pretty steady with kind of just user friendliness. You set it up and you kind of print, and it should do most of the things for you. The challenge comes when you change materials or you have a complicated design, which you have to like position well. Prusa is also good. So it's like a combination of the slicer, which is the software that turns it into G code, and the printer itself. So really, because you're asking, I think you would want something that you can just plug and play. So look for something that does that rather than something that you want to keep touching and like kind of fiddling around with. You'll have to do some tests anyway, but yeah, I think that's what you might want to focus on. Just like something that you don't have to fix and troubleshoot, because that just ruins the whole 3D printing experience. Like everyone has to go through it, even if you've done 3D printing before. So patience. And I think Mark Robber was the person you're talking about that does the glitter bombs.
Yes. That was exactly what I was talking about. I knew someone would know, and someone else had commented earlier today too, and or earlier just like a second ago, and I responded. Yes, Mark Roper. That was the person.
Yeah, have fun. That's pretty good. 3D printing should be pretty straightforward, but yeah, just pick the right one, do the research, and find something simple if you want to start off, or just go full in. But Bamboo Labs are pretty stable. I don't know what everyone else thinks.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different ones that you can use depending on like where your entry point is. Like the prices for them have like significantly dropped. Um, I tend to like when someone's just jumping in, I tend to like recommend something like an Anycubic. Those are like a resin-based printers, and like resin is like super cheap now. It's not like hundreds of dollars like it was before. It's like a kilo of resin is like anywhere between 20 to like $35, and you can get a ton of different like really good prints from that. But I mean, look at some Anycubics, like the base one you can get for like under $200. Like there's a really good one that it's like a 14K resolution that's like $400, which, mileage may vary, but that was kind of like unheard of like years ago. You also have, if you want to go a bit more on like the FDM side, you always got like the MakerBots. There's also different types of printing styles. So, you got SLS printers, which are like hella expensive, but they're really good. They're like the powdered ones. Definitely not like an entry level printer by any means. But you have the SLAs, which is what I was like describing right now, which are the resin-based stereolithography type printers. MJF is like a multi-jet fusion printer, which essentially uses powder. They do have them like a little bit smaller scale now. Another one, not entry level. For anything entry, I would probably recommend an FDM, which is like the resin, like a spool based one, or a resin one. Resin by far will give you a better quality and most likely less headaches. The thing that you're gonna definitely not enjoy about an FDM Filament printer is leveling the bed, and when that thing does not level properly, yeah, you might be there for a minute trying to get that to properly like calibrate. And with most resin printers, the slicing is the part that it's going to be a little challenging. It's mostly just setting up supports, but there's a lot of softwares out there that will help you get the supports in the right spot and detect all of the like floating island points, which essentially is like the difference between like a filament printer is that it, you know, it prints from the ground up, and then the resin printers essentially pull your model out of the resin in the liquid, so it prints upside down. So you have the supports coming from the opposite side, and essentially holding the model. So it just, you know, you can't print in the air, so it holds everything together. So I mean, hopefully that wasn't like too wordy and helpful, but let me know if you had any other questions.
And
I
a
would
lot of
make a
new terminology
counterpoint.
that you're. Go ahead.
Sorry, I would make a counterpoint because I think, like, depending on how old the people are using the system, I think an SLA might be a bit messy and potentially
That is a
toxic.
very good point. That is a very good point. Yeah.
Right, I think Anya's kids wants to use it, so it's like I think the FDM's ideal, but also the auto leveling nowadays with the modern printers is a non-issue because they all have auto leveling like switches, so it's less of a for that.
Yeah, I think Merrill hit the nail on the head there. If you're looking for a printer for the little kids, something that you can use with them, stay away from like resin and stuff like that. It gets messy. It's not good for you. You got to wear respirators and gloves, and it's no good. So if you're gonna do something with the kids, get an FDM printer. The resolution isn't gonna be as great, but like Merrill was just saying, with the newer printers now, the auto leveling is really good. And Bamboo is like the Nike of 3D printing. Like they're like the top tier uh, company. So, and right now they're actually having a sale, I think, until July 4th or July 5th. I just bought a printer the other day. It'll be delivered on Wednesday, tomorrow. So, yeah, I would suggest Bamboo. I also have an Anycubic resin printer, which is great. But again, resin printing is just, it's messy. It's not good for the kids. You got to do it, you know, in a well ventilated area. You don't want it touching your skin. It can irritate you. It's a lot. So FDM printer, Bamboo Labs makes great FDM printers, and they're on sale right now. So just do a little research and you'll find something great.
I love this. This is it's a mashing of the old ways versus the new ways, and everybody is learning something. And honestly, this is great for me. My entire street is like Gen Alpha, like test tube, and a lot of the kids on our road have been getting 3D printers, and then they set up these little booths like lemonade stands with their little 3D printed like toys. And my kids have been like, "Hey, I need 50 cents. I want to go buy one of those little sea dragons that my friend printed with their 3D printer." And I'm like, "What is happening? My street is like full of these high-tech kids, and I have no idea. I feel behind in all of this." So, honestly, this is really great information for me. Not only learning it as like a potentially new 3D printer creator, but then also my kids are in that world where this is the best and newest thing that's happening for them because they don't have access to smart technology yet, like the phones and all that stuff. We're not there yet. We're not in that digital age. And so they're using the other technology that they can have access to and really making use of it in their own ways. So just, yeah, we're beyond lemonade stands now. It's 3D printed toys from here on out on the corners of every street. So this is amazing. But no, that's honestly, that was great. So Bamboo, FDM, I'm learning a lot of terminology here. I appreciate all of you for educating me. This is incredible.
Oh, you're so cute. Hi, Robsy. Welcome up on stage. Missed you. Are you going to participate in this challenge? Is that even a question?
Oh yeah, I'm doing something. I'll be traveling this weekend, so I won't be able to jump on it right away. But I'm definitely going to be doing something. I got to get those shoes. I didn't get a pair of the cat tones, so I think that's my only way in. So I'm gonna need those. So I'm gonna make like as many mods as it takes to get those shoes. So just be on the lookout. They're coming at you.
Oh, he's coming for those cat tongues. In fact, let's talk about the prizes quickly. If I can find them. So we have in third place a pair of Void Dunks, And then in second place, we have a pair of OG and Void Dunks. And in first place, we have Dunk OG and Dunk Void and a cat tongue, which is actually called what, Franco?
I think it's Nico Cabo. I'm not
Nico
sure how to pronounce it.
Cabo. Yes, and just a quick little disclaimer, guys. Due to the exclusivity of these sneakers, sizes will be dependent on availability. So keep that in mind. These things are rare, boys and girls. Very, very rare. So the dates, obviously, it started already and it ends at 5 p.m. PT July 15th. So that is 1, 2, 3 weeks. Why did I even count that when I knew that? About 3 weeks and a bit, no? Wait, am I counting wrong? Yeah, well, anyway. I do have another question for you 3D printer experts. I used to have a UV printer. It was massive. It took up like half of our living room. It used to live there. And it was self-cleaning every 8 hours. And it stank. It was horrid, but we loved it and we needed it. But I think it was quite a bit of like a health hazard. We did have an extractor underneath it, but obviously if it was cleaning during the night while we were asleep, then the extractor wouldn't come on. So anyway, in terms of the 3D printers, the resin ones, you said it's quite sus. Does that do self-cleaning or do you have to do it yourself? And whilst you're not using it, is it safe to just sit there?
So mine, I don't have like a high dollar resin printer. It's just more of a beginner printer, so it doesn't do self cleaning. It's in my garage though, so it's away from everything. I just keep it out in my garage. But I also still wear a respirator. When the lid's on it, you can't really smell the resin too much. But as soon as you take the lid off, yeah, it's pretty strong. So it's best to keep it. You know, if you're not using it, keep it just in an area that you don't spend much time in. Keep it near a window. They have a lot now have filters in them. So and the printers now they're not as big as probably the one that you had then. So they're a bit more you know smaller, and I know a lot of them have a lot of filters in there, so they try to filter out as much of that stuff as they can. But yeah, either way, I prefer to just keep mine in the garage, keep it away. I have a kid running around, so I don't need him getting into it. So as far away from me as possible.
That's really good advice. Though the problem that we had with the UV printer was that in the UK, the weather is so up and down and it gets really cold in the garage, so we couldn't keep it there. Otherwise, it wouldn't function. It has to be at a certain temperature. So does a UV resin printer get affected the same way?
Yeah, so some of them now have heaters in them, so they'll actually it'll heat up and get to optimal working temperature before it starts printing. So they've come a long way. It's just there's a new 3D printer company coming out every week. They're coming out with new printers every single week. I see them all the time. So there's plenty of stuff to choose from. It's just a matter of doing a little research, and especially for where you live. Like I live in the middle of the desert. It's hot and dry all the time. Perfect for resin and all that stuff. I don't got to worry about it freezing. You know, it's always warm. So, but for you, you're probably gonna have to look into a different type of printer, or they have stuff that you can add on to your printer, like a heater, filters, stuff like that. For people that don't have the option of putting it in their garage or putting it somewhere else, they have stuff that'll help you out.
Excellent advice. Thank you for that. Jay, did you want to add anything to that?
Oh no, they pretty much like this is exactly what I was gonna say. The one I have has like a air filter and a purifier in there as well, just to remove some of the just like the gases and the fumes and stuff. But I keep it in the garage as well. I have kept it there pretty much through winter and everything, and haven't had too much issues. But our garage is kind of like, I guess, pretty decently insulated, so I don't have to deal with too many like extreme temperatures there. But yeah, I think like I said, printers have gone a long way. Things that used to be like massive and unpractical at some points are now just like miniaturized with a bunch of extra, like, they use that space to kind of add a lot of extra quality of life stuff to it. So plenty of options out there. Just gotta find, whichever works best with, with your situation and what you have available and where you're at pretty much.
Very. I think in your situation, because you also have a Yobs, I think a resin printer might be great. It does take more space because technically you need 3 machines. Or that's what they sell you. You don't have to have the 3 machines, but there's the resin printer, then the washer, which is like an isopropyl, like an alcohol clean, and then you have to cure it with a UV light, which is funny because you try to get away from the UV printer, but here comes a UV light, like a sunbed, for your prints. And then because Yobs can spray, and you can use his magic, I think that you can get some pretty cool products coming out of that with a printed 3D part. I think that's the final touch, really.
It is very difficult to have a Yobs. I'm not gonna lie.
I was just gonna say, could you tell us where on Amazon we can find one of those? Because I think we all need a Yobs in our house.
Sorry, sold out. Completely sold out. Never
Darn it.
But yeah, Yobs is actually looking to get one, and I'm just jumping on that train. I'm like, hey, I want one too. Can we share? And it's like, yes, if you want to share the price tag. Kevin, welcome up on stage. How you doing?
Yo, how's everybody doing? Happy creator meetup. Love these spaces. Love when there's a new creator challenge, and just excited to see what comes of this. Just to thank everybody who came out to the stream before this spaces. We gave away my first ever printed and painted dunk mod, which is pretty. It kind of like felt, my heart kind of breaking a bit, like, because I have to give away something that was like, I think, kind of very important. Like, you're gonna see once you start to make these dunk mods, like, you're gonna become so more attached to your shoes because you have a way to express yourself on them. You have a way to kind of make it your own in a new way, and I don't know, it just brings a whole new dimension of excitement and imagination as a creator. Sometimes the hardest thing to do, I think the hardest thing to do as a creator is to introduce yourself to people in a way that is unforgettable. I think as an artist, as a creator, the more you can introduce yourself to people in a way that is unforgettable, the more you have accomplished your mission. And so for me, like, as I've grown as an artist, and it's like things like this are like, it's just like a diamond. It's like it gives you the opportunity to walk into a room and represent yourself without having to say anything, and you'll be amazed at how many different doorways that opens. I started 3D printing myself after I went to Complex Con. I just wanted to tell this story because, like, I think it's so important. Like, I just was so inspired when I saw those dunks in person, and I saw the vision, and I said, this is a skill that I don't have, but I don't care what it takes. I'm gonna learn it. And with a small investment, that I paid over a few months financing my 3D printer was paid itself off so quickly. It's insane. Like, there's certain things that you invest in, and it takes some time for your ROI to come through, but without specific, I'm sure, like, whatever part of the industry you're working in, like, just to give you an example, I have this one networking event that I went to, and these people, and I said, you know what, let me 3D print like a little placard. I put a little NFC of their logo. I put an NFC chip inside of it, and I created a little virtual world that tells you about that company. I brought it to the event. I gave it to the person who runs the event, and within a couple weeks, I already had like a job, a new job lined up, new client, like, and it cost me probably literally one, like, those are the kinds of things that even if you don't win this creator challenge, like, for me, it's like they say, it's like, you're gonna come out on the other side with a new skill. You're going to be able to use that as a way to multiply the impact you're already making. So regardless of the outcome, just push yourself. Think of ideas that, might even be beyond your reach right now, and use this as the challenge to say, can I learn the skills necessary to do something I previously imagined I wasn't able to do? Because when you do things like this, like for clients, you're not able to take the kinds of risks and the creative freedom that you can in a situation like this while still feeling like you're getting rewarded for your time. So, take this as an opportunity to show yourself that you still don't know what you're capable of. Stop limiting yourself. Push the limits. Let's freaking do this.
Somebody do the clapping soundboard. Come on. Wait. Oh, what a speech.
Let's go. And also, I'm using a K1 Creality printer, FDM printer. Like they said, it doesn't matter which printer you get, just get one and get your reps. Or if you're not using a printer, you're 2D, 3D, get your reps. It's not about like. There's a quote by Mozart somewhere that talks about like it's not about writing one piece. It's about getting through it, completing, and going to the next one. Make as many pieces as possible with each time saying, how close and true to my vision of what I wanted am I? It's not necessarily like, oh, finish it and get done and go on to the next one. At the end of each piece, ask yourself, is this what I envisioned? Is this honestly true to what we envisioned here? Like, I think the perfect thing was said earlier today, which was like, just make sure you're true to your message. The last thing you want to do is create something and have people not understand what you were trying to communicate. That's the most important thing. So just make sure it's true to your message, and super excited to see what everyone creates. I will be creating an on cyber museum of all the dunk mods I'm going to be creating. So essentially like a virtual museum of every dunk mod. Like that's just going to be cool over time to see what people create. So know that even if you don't win, you will be featured in there, and can't wait to see what comes of it.
Oh, Kevin, that sounds so good. I know you're the on cyber expert and you've made a few galleries and spaces on cyber before, and they've all been so impressive. I would love to see this. Sounds so good.
Is going to be lit.
Let's look. I've got one question from somebody on Discord, Exo Ferrari, and he said, if two people collaborate on this contest, what happens with the prizes? Do each person get a shoe? How will the grand prize be split? Now, obviously, we can't split the shoes in half, but you can if you choose to do that. You can take the right side, your friend can take the left side. This is something you should just discuss beforehand because the prizes are the prizes, and in the end, you are responsible for them. So, I'm sure sharing is caring, right? Still, the message, guys? Yeah. So, just aim for that second or third prize, and you should be good. And with that, I don't really have anything else. Does anybody in the speakers panel have anything to add to the spaces? No. Anybody from the co-hosts?
I'm just excited to see some dope ass mods.
For real. For real. I feel like I was thinking, damn, we need to wait a while until we see something, but I just looked at my timeline and there is some stuff already. I mean, Rose Jade said sketches are already done. Can you believe it? Sketches are already done. And then she's going to use ChatGPT to help her with Blender. She said, at a minimum, we'll submit some 2D concepts. And that's all that is required. Honestly, whatever you're comfortable with, if I was participating, I think, of course, I would aim to make something physical, but I would submit each step of the way as a submission. Because you never know, your 2D creation could hit harder than your actual 3D print. You never know, guys. You never know. Yep. Okay. Cool. I'm really excited. Good luck to everybody participating. Again, thank you so much for your time, all the speakers today. My co-hosts, Cass, Yarlen, Franco, thank you guys for your time. I know you're super duper busy. Anyone participating, I can't wait to see what you do, and I hope that you come out of this really inspired to create even more, to maybe start your own brand. I don't know, collaborate with more people, whatever gets your juices flowing and whatever's best for you as a human, because that's all that matters when we do these contests. And one final thing that I had to add. Oh yes, who would you like to see out of these 3D creators? Well-established ones, newer ones, from, I don't know, like 3D printing gods. Anybody, any artist that you know, 2D, 3D, who would you like to see create a design for their mods slash dunks? Because you should tag them and you should spread this challenge like hellfire. And because we just really want to see what cool things people can come up with and then add them to our physical shoes some way, somehow. So spread the word, remember, like fire, and good luck with the challenge, guys. That's it. So with that, we're all going to say goodbye at the same time. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Bye.
See ya.
Ciao.